pretty rowdy crowd. So guys, what's happening? How many Arrow fans we got? How many Flash fans we got?
Oh, yeah!
Whatever.
You don't even ask about Legends.
And I'm not going to.
Yeah.
No, Legends is great. I love Legends. Legends, Supergirl, awesome.
Yeah.
Supergirl coming to the CW is great, right? Got all the crossover stuff.
Makes sense.
I think we'll be doing another crossover next year.
I would hope so.
You know, if it was up to like the powers that be, we'll be doing like 4 crossovers a year because they really like them, big viewership. And I hope that our next crossover, I want it to be a little harder. You know, just I want to see. You know, I mean, I know the kids here, but I want to see a little more grit. You know? I mean, aliens are nice. They were cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see a little more. Ugh.
Well, Arrow certainly has its share of grit.
Yeah, Arrow does.
But you want to see it expand over the course of
Yeah, and you know, I get it. I mean, Arrow is what it is. Arrow's a little more grounded as you can be with a superhero that fights crime with a bow and arrow. Granted. But it's, still a little more gritty, a little more street, which I've always liked about it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a little more grit in the crossover.
Well,
But,
I know even now we have the most recent news, which I know you've tweeted about and posted about too. Black Lightning just got picked up.
Black Lightning, yes, I'm happy to hear about Black Lightning.
I think we've been told that at least for the first season, which is what we're hoping, it's not going to exist in the same universe.
Yeah.
But we were told that about Supergirl too, and that...
Yeah, we're also told many, many years ago that you would never hear about 2 specific cities in our universe, which you have now. So, I mean, things change, right? But I don't know what the benefit will be. Those guys is way above my pay grade. They're much smarter than I am. But I'm wondering why not part of the universe right off, because it just... I think part of the strength is having these shows that we all know each other, we can all cross over in a moment. There was I don't remember what episode it was, but there was a moment where Oliver called some lieutenant. You guys will probably tell me what episode it was because I don't remember. Some lieutenant or captain at some precinct, and he was like, "Listen, I am who I say I am. Believe me." And he was like, "How do I know it's really you?" And he like pressed a button and Flash came and said, "He's legit." You know what I mean?
I do remember that.
So funny, so good. And it's just like those types of moments are so funny and good to me. So hopefully Black Lightning can be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a shortened season. I think it's going to be a mid-season show from what I understand. I can understand using the first season to kind of separate itself and let it establish itself.
Yeah.
But I would hope by at least season 2, we've seen so far anything can happen with the multiverse.
That's
so
right.
Throw it on another Earth and let him come over.
Anything can happen except for Diggle can't have a doppelganger. What is Diggle's doppelganger?
I don't know.
First of all, was Diggle hatched? Does he have parents? I mean, these are the things I wonder about.
He's got a
It's
brother.
true, like you've seen parents from everyone except Diggle. It's like, how did Diggle come to be? I don't know. I know, alien. Maybe he was actually. I pitched along with James Bamford, who is a wonderful director on our show and stunt coordinator, and who'll be doing more work on the show next year. He's just brilliant. We pitched Carl Weathers for Diggle's Fall.
That would be an awesome...
Wouldn't it be great?
That'd be great.
Don't know if it'll work. I mean, Carl's doing what he's doing now. He has a huge resurgence in his career. But it'd be nice to get Carl Weathers. As
Who would you-
Apollo Creed as Diggle's father.
Who would you cast as your mother if you could do that?
I don't know, Linda Carter. I'm in love with Linda Carter, my God. You guys are gonna totally print that now, I know. Linda Carter. Speaking of Linda Carter, I didn't think anyone would be able to touch Wonder Woman, but God, Gal Gadot.
The movie, I'm hoping it's good.
That's the one I'm looking forward to seeing. Like, it's like, Gal, like she burns the screen, man. I mean, as soon as in Batman vs. Superman, he just, like, she was the movie for me. I mean, the movie was great, don't get me wrong. It's just, every time she came on the screen, it was just like, wow. So I'm really looking forward to Wonder Woman. But anyway, and Linda Carter was great. I don't know how I got started on all this.
I asked you would cast as your mom.
And you're holding up the poster up, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know who would play mom. I have to really think about that. But I think there's some discussion about Carl Weather as finally a parent for John Diggle.
That would be.
And I'm curious, as you guys write it, who would be Diggle's doppelganger on Earth 25 or whatever?
That's something I've never pondered. I never thought about it.
Well, now you have something to think about.
I know, now I
Carry
have
on.
to think about that. I will have some kind of an answer for you by the end of this panel.
And that line, now
Don't
you have
hold
something
me
to
to
think
that
about,
either.
carry on. All you Trekkies, tell me what movie that's from. What Star Trek? I'm such a geek. Anyway, go ahead.
I think one of the things that I know I've had the opportunity to be on stage with you before. I moderated a panel with you and Katie Cassidy, Will Holland in Atlanta, and I was looking forward to this more one-on-one. But I know the one thing, the timing sucks because we haven't even seen the finale yet, so we can't talk about it.
Right.
All right. What can you tease about it without giving anything away? Because I like to be surprised. So
Listen, there was a big discussion about the finale and the fact that we will go to the island and do some big things on the island. And Steven actually really went to bat for Manu Bennett really being back on the show.
As Deathstroke, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't really touch the island in the way we do without there being some real presence of Manu. And Manu, you know, for me personally, our second season was our strongest, and that had a lot to do with Manu. And I just think he's just brilliant as Deathstroke, and he does an incredible job. He does an incredible. I mean, he just jumps right back into it. Even the trailer, when you see the trailer and he's behind the bars, it's just like chill, just like, hey kid, and it's like, oh yeah, Manu Bennett, he's back, he's back, So it was great to have him back, and that was in no small part, thanks to Steven for really making that happen.
Yeah, you mentioned the trailer to the finale. I think I've watched the trailer to the finale probably at least 5 times because, like you said, I get chills, and I think the finale. I agree with you that season 2 was one of the strongest, but this 5th season,
yeah, I think 5 is right up there.
It's been one of the best seasons we've seen as far too, because it's coming around full circle to that whole 5-year journey that we've been seeing.
And I'm going to be curious. I think that's another. I think the flashbacks took up 7 or 8 minutes of story time in terms of storytelling on the show. So I'm curious to see what they're going to fill that with next year. Because the flashbacks are over. Were you guys really attached to the flashbacks? Did you like them? Yes. It's a mixed crowd.
Yeah, I've heard mixed about the flashbacks too.
So most people are probably glad to see it leave. Yeah. So we'll see where they go with the story.
I wouldn't mind seeing flashbacks of the past of some of the other characters, because there's still more about Renee that we need to learn.
Right.
And I think Renee has been one of my favorite characters. He's come so far on this, but I would love to see flashbacks of some other characters before this 5-year journey. You mentioned bringing in Carl Weathers as your father. Yeah. Having some Diggle flashbacks would be great.
Yeah. Glad to see. Be happy to see that. I'll be happy to see. I really want, and we touched on it a little bit, but I don't know. I think that the whole Diggle, Lila, she's the new Amanda Waller Suicide Squad. I just think that's just untapped. You know what I mean? And the fact that Argus, we have access to that somewhat. And she's such a kind of an integral or immediate part of the core because she's Diggle's wife. I just think that's something we should really explore in terms of, you talk about backstory, just in terms of what's happening with that whole Suicide Squad thing. I mean, obviously, we had to make some changes. Like killing Amanda Waller and Deadshot. But I know. But there's still other characters, and Killer Shark and some other people. So it'll be nice to see how that stuff plays out. Yeah.
I know we already talked a little bit about the crossovers, and as you said, there would be 4 or 5 crossovers throughout the season. One of my favorite.
Well, they would have. I'm not saying. That.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah.
They would, if it was up to the executives, they would have more crossovers for sure.
One of my favorite aspects, though, of the crossovers, and I know there's some other fans that feel the same way, and I'm wondering how you feel about this too. One of my absolute favorite things about the crossovers are seeing Diggle's reactions to metahumans.
Yeah.
They're hysterical. I look forward to them every time. When we knew we were getting that 4-part crossover, I couldn't wait to see his reaction to Supergirl.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, you know something, I wish we could have done a little bit more with his reaction to Supergirl. I mean, for Diggle's, seeing a woman fly across the horizon in a skirt. I really wanted to kind of explore that a little more. Really didn't get a chance to do it as much as I wanted to. But anytime Diggle gets to kind of get out of his regular element, he's a nuts and bolts guy, kind of serious. But back into that season 1 Diggle where he kind of has those snide little comedic remarks that he really gets to explore on The Flash particularly. The Flash is just funnier in general. Okay, I mean, it's just brighter and funny and cute, and I love it. I love it. So it's anytime Diggle gets to go over there, then it's always fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Diggle, if you look at the aspect of season 1 to now, he's definitely a lot more of a hardened character. I mean, between everything that happened with his brother and. So I can understand why that's gotten a little bit taken away, but that's one of the reasons why I love looking forward to those moments.
Yeah.
Is when that happens. Because I think you said with Supergirl, if I remember correctly, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, I think it came down to 2 words. You were just, I'm convinced.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was
exactly. That was it. I mean, we talked for a long time about what we're going to do, and I don't know if I really got to sink my teeth into a real reaction like I did The Flash, and The Flash, Diggle's reaction to The Flash has been an ongoing storyline.
Yeah, he still never believes it every time.
He never believes it.
My question for this, though, about this leading into this is, and it's more of a serious note, is character-wise, do you think John appreciates the metahumans, or do you think he kind of feels like they're unnecessary?
Well, I was always kind of curious about John's position with metahumans because ultimately, I think it's just out of his wheelhouse, right? But, I talked to producers from the beginning. It was like, that'd be interesting if his doppelganger is a metahuman, because of just how he feels personally about metahumans. Tweet that. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. But we'll see. I think just in terms of character development, I think the reason why he's so he sees it as so otherworldly is just because it's out of his wheelhouse. I mean, he's a military guy. Diggle is, he's the most kind of, I think, accessible dude, of the core. Felicity's, I've said this before, one of the top 3 smartest people on the planet. Arrow, one of the top 2 fighters on the planet. And, you can go down the line. Diggle, I think, is just a, guy from the neighborhood that joined the military, went into personal service, and decided to, help his community, and met this guy Oliver along the way. So I think he's really kind of a normal guy. So when he sees things like metahumans, it's just kind of out of his wheelhouse, just takes him completely out. But it'd be interesting to have a doppelganger that is that thing that makes him, makes the Earth 1 Diggle go, wow, like that's my doppelganger.
I think I just figured it out, too.
Yeah.
I think I've seen pictures of this tweeted out, so it's not necessarily my idea, and not necessarily a metahuman. But what if Diggle's doppelganger was a member of the Green Lantern Corps?
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Well, they've obviously, when someone like John Diggle shows up and his name is John and has a military background, season 1 and season 2, that's all they talked about, just in terms of the fandom. Is this John Stewart? And there was a certain amount of push. Basically every single character that you see in our universe, in any DC property, there's some check marks that go through this executive chain, and it's a long, I don't know how long it is, but it has to go through some people's eyesight on some people's desks before it gets approved. So the fans really kind of wanted John Stewart, and it kind of got debunked by the producers at some point that as much as they would love for that to happen, that's not going to happen, and that was really a higher up decision at DC. I think they really have something now they're working on with cinematically a John Stewart, Hal Jordan.
I think there's rumors, yeah.
Rumored to be the lethal weapon in space.
I could dig that. No pun intended on the dig.
That was nice. So yeah. So anyways, but you know, it's. I was upset a little. I was a little disappointed. I wouldn't say upset, but a little disappointed to hear that. Oh, John Diggle isn't John Diggle Stewart or John Stewart Diggle, whatever. But you know, I get to create a character that never existed before, and
who I think they've actually added to the
they
comics
added to
since
the comic book, and which has been great, man. So I you know Spartan is a character that has come out of the television show, is now in the DC comic books, and it's great to be an original character.
Yeah. You mentioned Spartan too, and I know recently we've seen a lot of the upgrades thanks to Cisco from The Flash and Spartan's new helmet. Do you hope that's where the costume ends, or would you like to see?
Yeah, I want to see.
Costume?
Well, you know, I want to see some involvement, and you will see some involvement in terms of what Cisco and Star Labs really did with the helmet. You know, the fact that it can it has laser beams and can see through walls. I'm kidding. I don't know what it can do, but we're going to kind of explore some of that in season 6 and just kind of see exactly what that helmet can do.
Okay. I have one thing I'm going to give the audience a chance to ask them questions too, which I'm sure they have some Arrow questions. I want to break away from Arrow for just 1 second.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that I have a lot of guilty pleasure movies that I like to go back to from time to time. And I really enjoy it when I go back to a movie and I recognize an actor from somewhere that I know them otherwise that I didn't recognize them at the time. And over the past year, actually since Atlanta, I've recognized you in 2 of my favorite guilty pleasure movies. You were in Con Air. Is that a shameful shake of the
No,
head?
Con Air was great. It's just, I think I had a bag over my head for most of the movie, but thank you for recognizing it.
Oh, there we go. But the other one is working with Matthew Perry in 3 to Tango.
3 to 2. Oh my goodness, you went way back.
I went way back. But
like
I actually really enjoyed that movie.
8 or something. Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun. I did a slew of those. I did that in Con Air, very Brady sequel. Oh my God, the rent, man. You gotta pay the rent. And but they were fun. I mean, I got to learn a lot. There was another great little movie called Pay It Forward that I got to do around that time, and that was fun. But you know, and Nutty Professor, I got to do that. But it was fun because you know there was small little bit roles, and I got to work with like, you know, Eddie Murphy, Helen Hunt,
Yeah.
right, and Kevin Spacey, and got to work with all these
Oliver
Perry.
Platt,
Got to work with all these great people. Another show called Huff that I did. So it was just you know really fun small things. I did like 3 or 4 episodes here, 6 episodes here, and it was just something that just kind of built in my career. I became for a while a journeyman actor. Did Dexter for a while, then Blue Bloods, and just kind of jumped around, and then oddly enough, it was Blue Bloods that Greg Berlanti saw me in, and was like, you know, I didn't talk to him immediately. I talked to Andrew Kreisberg. He said, "Well, Greg saw you in this show and wanted to meet you. Wanted to know if you wanted to do this show called Arrow. It's about the Green Arrow comic book. Do you know Green Arrow?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, listen, you won't have anything to do in the pilot, essentially, but you become his right-hand guy, and you become very integral. And do you like it?" I said, "Yeah, I love it." And I mean, but no one knew, man. No one had any idea it was going to blow up like this. I mean, no idea. I mean, the things that have come out of Arrow has just been fantastic.
I mean, it's called the Arrowverse now for
Right.
a reason. I mean, everything has stemmed off of Arrow. The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl not necessarily off of Arrow, but it's still a Berlanti project, and they've incorporated it. And now I think people still consider it part of the Arrowverse.
Yeah, I don't think it's too far to say that most of these shows have stemmed from the success of Arrow. I mean, obviously, Supergirl didn't come directly out of Arrow, and neither did Black Lightning, but all of this stuff really has happened, I think, from the success
Because of the success
Without
of
a
Arrow.
doubt.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to open it up to the audience. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hand up, and either myself or David will choose somebody from the audience. You'll have to speak up a little bit. But...
No, you go ahead. I'll let you choose.
Oh,
All right, him. No kidding.
do you have a wireless? Okay.
We have a wireless. Well, it's not that big of a room. Guys, project.
Needs more. We'll start right here in the front.
Grayson, right?
Yeah. The other day, it's not on Arrow, but it's in Argus when Flash and Captain Cold from the past actually go and break into Argus. And we saw Cheetah as one of the Argus
Prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Cheetah have anything to do with season 6? Or is this
Again, that's a great question. Again, we're getting into kind of more of the Argus prisoners is what I would really like to do, because Diggle's wife is in charge of that facility, right? So it's a gold mine for, you know, do you want some really hot new characters? It's like it's like Amanda Waller being in charge of Arkham or something, you know, just start letting prisoners out or breaking out. So I think that's an avenue we haven't explored. I think some of that we've touched on already with the division between Lila and Diggle. We kind of touched on that in one of the previous, one of the most recent episodes in the latter part of season 5. We're going to get into some of that in season 6, and I think that though it may not be the Suicide Squad, you'll see some characters coming out of Argus via some of the stuff that happens with the new Amanda, Lila. Yeah, so you'll see some of that. I don't know if it'll be Cheetah, but certainly we'll play around with some of that. We've already discussed how that will be integrated into the new season. I don't know how exactly yet, but it will be.
Do they already have a good idea as to where they're going to progress into the 6th season?
It's just been suggestions. Me and Steven kind of came up with some stuff in terms of, you know, what happens between he and Diggle, and they get married, and Felicity gets jealous. It's kind of crazy. And, but besides that, that's the only thing we came up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I saw your hand up too, but
So I was curious, since a lot of characters have like their own signature weapon, like obviously Oliver Queen has his bow and Curtis has his D-spheres. Spartan only has like guns usually.
Right.
Would you want like a specific signature weapon for Spartan, like other than a gun?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Diggle's gun is very specific, and we've only seen some of the stuff it can do. We've only seen some of the things the helmet can do. But again, we have 7 or 8 minutes now left of the show that's no longer flashbacks. So I think, and again, we've talked about some of this, I think you will see some of the things that maybe you're wondering about, like, and I answered this at another con, like the specifics of the ammunition that Diggle's using, that's non-lethal. I mean, Diggle has been the biggest proponent next to Felicity of Arrow of Oliver not killing.
Yeah.
But Diggle shoots somebody every week. So it's like, you know, what in the world is he using? You know, so, I mean, we can get more specific about these things. So in terms of a signature weapon, I think he has it. I just think we haven't really explored that specific gun yet. And we've seen some of it, but we haven't really explored all of that, and the helmet. So I think we'll be getting into more of that with the extra time we have on the show next season.
okay. We'll go back. Actually, again, that works. There.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
Awesome. Is there any like DC character that hasn't been used yet that you want to see used on Arrow?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne. I mean, I say this every single time. I mean, I want to see Bruce Wayne. I want to see the 2 billionaires have a fight. I don't want to see Batman and Oliver fight. I want to see Bruce Wayne and Oliver Queen fight it out. You know what I mean? I want Ben Affleck to come to the show as Bruce Wayne and fight with Stephen Amell. That's what I want. I mean, how hard can that be? You know what I mean?
But like, what if they can only get
No,
Clooney?
I want Ben Affleck. Okay.
I was going to say, what if they can only get Clooney?
Oh, God.
I know, sorry. I had to do it.
I mean, I thought you that was your wad. You just blew it on that.
I know, I had
that was
to, sorry.
it. Val Kilmer actually I liked. I thought he was a really good.
I went right to the worst one.
I thought Clooney was okay. I love Joel Schumacher, but I just thought it was. You know. No, I really want to see Bruce Wayne and Oliver Queen. I say that every single time I get that question. I think that's just people are just waiting to see that. And I mean, I think you have to, after you do that, you have to go to Batman and Oliver Queen. I mean, where is Bruce Wayne? Is Bruce Wayne a kid in Gotham and his parents just died? Is he part of the League of Assassins? Is he in Gotham now as the Dark Knight? I mean, is he in our universe an older, grizzled Bruce Wayne? Is he more like Affleck now? So you know what I mean? So I would love to just even know where, Bruce Wayne is. And like I said, earlier in the beginning of our show, we mentioned that we would never talk about 2 cities, particularly 2 characters, that being Superman and Batman, Gotham and Metropolis, and we've done both We've talked about Metropolis, and you actually seen Batman or Superman. So, I don't know. And again, this is way above my pay grade because DC decides these things. But I just think that it's waiting. Bruce Wayne is there. That's the story. Where did these? And I think in the original mythos of this whole thing, Oliver Queen was the older. He's the older guy. I am right about that.
I think
right?
between him and Bruce, I think
he's older. But that doesn't have to be in our universe. So I would love to see Bruce Wayne.
Batman is on Earth 5 and his real name is John Diggle.
I know. Or or if Flashpoint, which we have already touched on, can we follow that storyline? That now is not Bruce Wayne, it's actually his father who is Batman. And if that storyline can work, because to me, and they haven't said this, the executives have not said this, but it seems clear to me that the movie version of Justice League is going in the form of Injustice, and the TV series are kind of following and touching on Flashpoint. So I would love to see, and if all the geeks know what I'm talking about, everyone else is like, well, what is he talking about? But I would love to see us follow Flashpoint more and see maybe Bruce Wayne's father became Batman because of Bruce Wayne's death. So who knows? But I would love to see that.
Well, I think wasn't there a point in the show, it might have been on The Flash and not Arrow, but I think there was a moment because of Flashpoint that it was actually Oliver's father who became Green Arrow and not Oliver.
Was that true?
Earth 2.
That was
Was it Earth 2?
That was
Okay.
Earth 752.
Yeah, they're out there. I mean, I'd like to think that the movie universe, I know they say they're completely separate, but I'd like to think that the movie universe is just a separate Earth in the multiverse.
Well, it all could be, right? I mean, that's the great thing about these multiverses, that you can change anything. Now you have Katie Cassidy back, awesome, next season, as Black Siren. Laurel Lance had a few bad breaks and became Black Siren instead of Black Canary. So it's, you can always play around with this stuff in these multiverses, so it's fun.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you have any questions. We'll go right here in front. We'll go towards the back next, I promise.
This is about Stephen Amell.
Yep.
How do you feel with him being on American?
Hey, Dom. I'm sorry, what?
About being on American Ninja Warriors when you're more ripped than him.
Oh. Yeah, Steven, where's the camera? You hear that? Okay. No, he speaking of rip, he rips Ninja Warrior. He does a fantastic job. I don't know. I mean, I would love to have done that, but obviously they only have one person from each show. But Steven's great. It's a funny story too, because when I first came to the show, I was a pretty solid guy. I wasn't super big, but I was pretty solid. And then I met Andrew Kreisberg. They're like, would you like to do shows? I said, yeah. And I auditioned, met everyone at the networks and everything. They're like, welcome. And then we had the read through, and I met Steven. And Steven had about 2 months or 3 months to really work out. And I met him, and he was like, hey, what's up, Dave? I'm Stephen Amell. How you doing? He was just solid. And I was like, so, I'm your bodyguard. Right. So I had to hit it, man. I had to hit the gym. And had to get bigger than Steven. And but it was fun. I mean, we have a healthy challenge with each other. We always encourage each other. Steve. It's funny too, because Steven is so great for the show, and he's brought so much to the show. He's just an incredible leader of our show, really. And as a leader of our show, you fight for certain things, right? You fight to have protein. I mean, just on the set. I mean, it sounds stupid, but when you have to take your shirt off, that's important. And you fight not to have as much sugar, on the set, or you fight to have this, fight to have that. So we were fighting. We haven't won the fight yet, but we've been fighting to have a workout trailer on the set, like a trailer that follows us around that just has workout equipment.
A mobile gym.
A mobile gym.
Yeah.
So Steven's still working on that. So let's pray for Steven.
Well, I know in Atlanta, one of the questions I asked you, and for the life of me, I can't remember the answer you gave me, was when we were going to be able to see you do the salmon ladder.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to amend that to when are we going to see you run American Ninja Warrior, but somebody in the
Yeah,
end. Thankfully, you took
I
it.
recorded personally because I got so much from the fans, like, we want to see it, that I did it on my own and put it out on there. So it was out there. It's out there in the ethos that I've done the salmon letter. But you've never seen John Diggle do the salmon letter, so that'll be fun to see that.
At some point, I mean, it's there in the Arrow Cave. You might as
Yeah.
well take advantage of it.
Yeah,
I
might as
think
well.
I think we've even seen like Echo and Emily attempt it.
They attempted it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They attempted it.
More questions? Back here.
I was wondering if you can do me a solid.
Yeah, I could do a solid. What's up, man? What's up?
Okay, so I'm gonna embarrass this girl real quick. It's her birthday today.
All right.
And-
What's her name? Monique. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I was wondering if you can say happy birthday to her.
Hey guys, you ready? Monique's birthday. Are we ready? On three. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Monique / Batgirl. Happy birthday to you. Awesome. You're welcome, bro.
More questions?
Right there in the gray. Keep it having.
Oh, great. I got to run all the way.
Yeah. You do. Sorry.
Can you stand up, whoever's chosen? Because I don't know who
Right
it
there.
is.
Right there in the gray. Yeah.
I'm lucky.
With Arrow moving to Thursdays at 9, do you think you're going to get a little bit more of the grit that you want?
Is it moving?
Yeah, it's moving. I think they're putting it up against This Is Us too, which is.
Oh, that's in this market. Is that nationwide?
I could be wrong. I thought it was.
This is the first time I've heard that. It's moving Thursday?
To 9 p.m.
Yeah, Supernatural is going to
Are you
proceed.
sure about that?
Do you want me to find it?
Because I think.
No, I'm sure that it's happening. I'm curious as if it's happening nationwide. Wow. So we're after Supernatural now. So Supernatural's our lead-in?
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't do it. That would be an awesome
I'm gonna say it.
crossover.
I have to say it in Diggle voice. Damn it, Oliver.
No, it's Barry's fault.
Yeah, Barry's. It is Barry's fault. Damn it, Barry. What was the question?
You'll get more of the grit that you want because it's
Oh,
at
because
9
it's after
p.m.
Supernatural's 9. Something that's great. Great question. You would think, right? If nationwide has been pushed to 9, I can only hope the part of the executive decision on that would be to kind of make it a little more gritty and a little more dirty. It'd be nice for that. I mean, I'm still wrapping my head around following Supernatural, but it'd be nice. And Supernatural's awesome. 12 seasons?
I think next season will be their 13th.
Oh my God, Jensen, Jared, my God. That's a gig. That's awesome. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, but yes, I can only hope that we'll see a little more darkness at 9 o'clock. And not that darkness means necessarily good, you know what I mean? I think that's part of, just it being more grounded and gritty is part of what Arrow has always started with. And I think that's what the fans have always wanted. That's at least from the beginning. And I don't think we can make a mistake with being true to that.
I think it's something that fits very well. I know there's some people that have complained over the course of time that sometimes Arrow can get too dark, but I think I think since the beginning of this show, I think that's one of the things that has worked best for the series.
It's funny too. I mean, you can't please everyone, right? Because when I think there was a part in season 3, particularly maybe after Felicity and Oliver kind of ran off into the sunset at the end of one season, and then the next season you kind of see them in home life, and you kind of see a more cheery, happy Oliver, and people were like, ugh, like boo, you know. So I think that the strength of the show is, kind of a grizzled. Though I do think that they need to get their act together. I think we have to kind of, just make a decision on that one,
They're like the Ross and Rachel of Arrow.
Yeah. But I think they should, just be like John and Lila. They're together and no one makes a big fuss out of it, and that's just that. Go and get on with your lives.
Yeah. I'll let Dave think.
Have you ever imagined anything in CGI that when you saw it in the final cut, it looked a million times better than what you were thinking?
Yeah, King Shark. Okay, on Flash, when we crossed over Flash, I did an episode against King Shark, right? I had to find King Shark. All right, you know these little, the long poles in the department stores, they have a hook on the end, and they get the clothing from all the way up top where no one can reach? Well, they put a tennis ball on top of that, and that was King Shark. So we had to act against that for King Shark on the set, right? So this is Diggle looking at a long pole with a tennis ball on top. Dear God. Right? That's Diggle. So it always turned out a lot better because it wasn't a pole or tennis ball when you guys saw it. But, and no one, I think they also had there was a guy about 6'8", he had these little things all over him so they can CGI him. I think he held a guy horizontally and they made that King Shark's mouth, kind of holding a guy. And so there was that. But King Shark, I thought, turned out really well for me. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, I think King... No.
You'll be next, but go.
Go ahead.
King Shark, what? No, you go.
I was going to say King Shark, I think, was one of the things...
No, I'm kidding.
That,
King Shark.
King Shark brought Kevin Smith into the fold with some of the other shows with Flash, and because that was what impressed him.
Yeah.
To direct.
Yeah, Kevin's great. Kevin, I would love for Kevin to come over to Arrow.
So would I.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Been waiting for it.
Go ahead. I saw your hand up for a long time. So.
Do you think that they'll take Lila down the dark road like Amanda Waller and get to a point where Diggle has to choose between Ollie's team and the Argus team?
You just wrote a 6-episode arc in season 6. Thank you very much. Her question was, do you think they'll take Lila down a dark road and leave John Diggle to choose between his affection and love for his wife and his obligation to Oliver? That's a great question. It's a great story. My short answer to that is yes, because we've already talked about that. That's clearly where much of the story is going to be going in season 6, because we already touched on that in season 5. How much we want to explore it is the question. I don't know if if Lila will become Amanda Waller. She'll go that rogue, that dark. And Diggle is one to talk. I mean, it's not like he's not a vigilante. I mean, he is. So it's, but he has his own code and his own sense of righteousness. But I think you'll see the family quarrel first, and I don't know if they'll take it as far as him having to decide between Oliver and Lila, but I think we'll see some of that element. It's a 23 show season, so we're going to touch on that for sure in season 6. Great question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Steve's appeared in WWE.
Yeah.
Are you jealous of that, and what's your dream tag match with him and the other opponents?
That's great. Me and Diggle. Yeah. I am Diggle. Me and Steven, we were talking about like one of the cons where us like doing something where, because Steven's a lot of times right next to me when we do Heroes and Villains and there's some other cons. So he'll be signing and I'll be next to him, or maybe a couple down, and maybe somebody will come and, Steven, blah, 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 and they'll talk and they'll slam him into a breakaway thing, and then I'll come and it's like the bad guy will be gone by the time I get to Steven, and it's just the face, and it's Steven is the face, and Steven is the face, and we talked about that. So yes, I'm jealous. And I don't know, a tag team match now, I don't know who it would be against. But I would love to touch on some of that WWE stuff. I don't know if Steven's going to do it again, though. Steven can tell you better than I can, but it's, just like anything else, is really political. And I don't know if he's going to continue doing it, though I would love to see some more people on our show from the WWE. But I don't know who we would go against. I don't know. Maybe I would just be in the corner cheering him on. I don't know. But it'd be fun. I would love to do it. Yeah.
And you made me think of this too when we were talking about bringing up Supernatural earlier. Then you just said, me and Diggle. There was an episode of Supernatural in which Jensen and what's the other guy's name? Jared, that's it. And I watched the show. Jensen and Jared actually went into like a different universe or something where they portrayed themselves, they portrayed actors. What if in the multiverse, John Diggle meets David Ramsey?
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. John Diggle meeting David Ramsey. I think that David Ramsey wouldn't understand why he's stayed with Oliver so long. Yeah, I would say, wait. He kidnapped your wife? Your friend's best friend changed your daughter into a son? You've been shot 3 times? Poisoned once? I think he would say that you should pick your friends a little better, John Diggle. I don't know if David Ramsey would get it, but because John Diggle is he's a much better guy than I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question, so I'll let you do the honor of choosing who that is going to be.
What's going on, man? They're like, I don't know, I'm just here, I'm just chilling.
If you were to somehow gain a superpower in one of the episodes, what do you think it would be?
That is an awesome question. Well, it would be speed, but someone has that already. So it would probably be Xavier's power. So I can stop Oliver Queen from doing dumb things. That's it.
That's a good answer. We can fit in one more. We'll do one more question. We still got a little time.
Let's go all the way to the back. Well, way back. Right near the exit, the fire pole right there. Right there. You're looking backwards. There you go. You're the guy. Yep. Nightwing. You're that man on microphone.
Hi.
Hey.
So
that's another one I would love to see. Nightwing. I would love to see him.
What I'm going to ask is, I'm taking this out of DC for a second. Have you seen any of the Marvel shows, whether it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Netflix? And if you have, which is your favorite?
Oh boy. Oh, Iron Fist. Oh, Iron Fist.
Yeah. Okay.
Wherefore art my Iron Fist. I had high hopes for Iron Fist. Still do. Looking forward to the Defenders.
All right, cool. Luke Cage?
It's clear. Well, I like Luke Cage. Though I would love to have seen and I love the show, and I love the guy who portrayed the major villain. I would love to see a better villain for Luke Cage. I wouldn't mind seeing that. It's clearly Daredevil. It's clearly Daredevil. I think there's a stairwell scene in Daredevil. He fights these goons down the stairs. There's another Daredevil scene of him in a hallway where the camera just doesn't stop and just stays there. That's just like, oh my God. It's really, really well done. I like the fighting in Daredevil. I also like the stories in Daredevil. I think he's tortured and self-righteous and just a really good vigilante. So I'm curious to see how they form that alliance of the Defenders. So for me, it's Daredevil. I'm still want to see Moon Knight. I say that every single time because that's my favorite Marvel character. I love Moon Knight. Anyway, but I'm looking forward to Defenders. And right now it's Daredevil. That's my favorite Marvel comic book property on television. Though I think Mark Ruffalo deserves standalone Hulk. I mean,
I do too. I think he's been fantastic since he took over that character.
I think so too. He just has Bruce Banner. Just has him.
Gotcha. Well, I think we're out of time, but ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Mr. David Ramsey.
Very good question. Thank you.
Be sure to stop on at his table too.